Hello and welcome to part 5 of my Songs of Syx tutorial stream. Yesterday I went over the creation and application of administration and taxes. Today my stream is mostly going to be focused on the creation and use of a military and conquest. Hopefully for those of you watching who may not know all the semantics of this, that this video will help. As always, this video is primarily to be interacting with the questions and answers of the Discord. Or if you're a viewer on the Twitch and you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions and I'll do my best to address it during this stream. Let's get started. On my previous stream, you can see there's a walled off section here I built with stockade. This is where I'm going to put my military section, so to speak. Or, I shouldn't say my military section because I'm not going to have enough room in here to fit all of my training grounds. Instead, this is going to be primarily focused on my map army. In one of my previous streams, we saw how to create a map army by clicking this armies, clicking on the map, and then you can select whatever you want. Last time I've only been using mercenaries. We're going to want to build a professional army, a standing army now. Now that I have enough industry, primarily because of my jewelers, to afford an army, now I'm going to create one. I don't need any new citizens at this time. So, what you need is an army supply depot. And what this is, it's a building, and I highly suggest maxing the size of the building. But it's a building that sends supplies to your regional army. Speed this up. I'm only going to go a 3 wide road in here. I was debating a 2 wide road, but I changed my mind. Alright, what am I missing? I'm not missing anything, they're just taking a while to build it. There's almost 400 builders and they're taking a while to build it. It feels gypped. Now we have some supply depots. We have to basically set up the supply. Supply depots work similarly to that of an export depot. First and foremost, they're I'm going to take care of that riot first. Okay, military. Never forget to muster them. Come on. There they are. So I'm gonna line them up right here. Then I'm going to send them out. By clicking this button, they run free. They're not in a formation. They just go person for person straight towards any potential threats. So I'll take that out. I'll return them down to this position. And then I'll let them go. Good job, guys. Doesn't look like anything was broken. But just in case, I'm going to repair everything. Okay. Now if anything was broken, they'll fix it. Back to my military. First things first, I always suggest filling it to 100%. That way, you never have any supply issues if you're able to keep it full. They need rations. That's the only thing they eat. They don't eat anything else. They only eat rations. Also going to give them clothes, armor, and weapons. Those are the basics of what you need to give your army in order to get one created. Let's let this sit a little while for my supply depots to fill up before I start queuing an army. While that's happening, I'm going to start preparing for that army. Right now I have an armor and a weapons smithy. I'm going to double that production. In the same token, I'm going to create another tailor so I can equip that army, but also keep my main city working as well. I'm going to stick another one down, but I'm going to destroy this one. It's slightly killing me building over all these woods, but now that I have the income I do, it's not really important. My OCD is starting to kill me now. Normally I would build a fence there, but this time around I'm going to do something a little different. I'm just going to build wooden walls here. Because it looks cooler, that's why. At least I think so. I have a new armor smithy, a new weapon smithy. I have clothes again. How are my tools? Okay, I got enough tools. guys haven't picked any tools up yet then. Well, those guys have. But these guys... Okay, now they're starting to pick up their tools. Let's kill the storage here. I'm going to make a ration maker. Instead of buying all of my rations, which I was going to do, I'm going to make as much as I can. I'll supplement it with whatever I can buy after that. Preemptively. Glad I'm importing those pots. That's better. Almost. Almost better. But they're still walking outside of the road. So I'm going to place some fences so that they have to. Let's extend this all the way out here. All that's doing is funneling them to have to walk a certain path. By forcing them to walk on a certain path, it's also making them have a better road happiness. Now we have this, they're starting out with making meat rations. Meat is... I have a lot of meat, but it's not really a sustainable item. Well, it kind of is sustainable, and I am getting a lot more for it, so I'm actually going to leave this as meat. I'm going to make another ration maker, which I'm going to make... Correction, I'm going to make 2 more ration makers, which I'm going to make as fruit, and I'm just going to increase my fruit tax. In my previous stream, you noticed my fruit tax was a little too big, so I had to reduce it. In this case, I'll be able to increase it again, because you gotta feed your soldiers. On the same token, it looks like my tools might be suffering a little. So I will make another tool maker. Another 2 tool makers, actually. switch both of these to fruit. You'll notice it takes more fruit to create rations. That's also because fruit is a lot more plentiful. I also have to change the meat fetch to a fruit fetch. Because I copied this from the meat, it's seeing it as meat. And before I get too carried away that I've greatly reduced my workforce excess by really expanding on my industry, I'm going to make sure that every workplace I have is maxed on tools. Especially now that I have 4 tool makers. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to keep up. In fact, I'm going to go through and anything that I can make better tools on, I'm going to. Warehouses can make tools, huh? Actually, I'm gonna do all Cretonians. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of Cretonians, so I can commit genocide. Let's line them up, boys. Gonna select this first and foremost, hoping that they just charge out. Yeah, they've charged out. Now I have to try and figure out why I'm starting to have so many riots, and I'm pretty sure I know why. I have too much industry and too little housing units. They're probably not sleeping well. They're probably not entertained. Especially since it's a fair bit of a walk. This is going to hurt my manpower quite a bit. So normally in other riots, you've seen that they've simply stopped. In this case, my military took care of it, and I took their ringleaders. No, I'm going to stop sending them out. Ooh, those are some nicely equipped cantors. And let's stop the muster. Let's see what the damage is. That's quite a bit of damage, actually. No damaged buildings, just a lot less workers. So that means I'm gonna have to change my industry. So let's turn all of these off, try to get some semblance of workforce back. Let's create new housing units. There's not enough, well, there's enough room to place a little. But I'm going to place housing units up this way instead. Create a little back alley. Let's turn off all of this industry. All the new stuff I just built. Because I need these people in order to build these housing units. Meanwhile, I'm going to look at my research. It's probably about time I start thinking about my Cantor sleeping arrangements. Pick that up too. My arenas. I'll pick up religion as well. I likely won't do that until my next stream, but I'll prepare for it. So this whole section I'm looking at right now is refining. I don't have much into refining, so I'm going to just increase my industry, because that's what I'm excelling at right now. I won't be able to support my army yet, because I don't have enough workers to work this industry, and I kind of don't just want to rely on buying everything all the time. Although I could likely start building an army right now. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I look like I have enough resources here. So when you want to create your own army, you click on the recruit button. Not the mercenary button here, but the recruit button. You then have your race to select from. Because I know Dondorians are likely my best spam unit, actually I'm going to start off with the Cantors. I'm going to click the soldier target to 150, and that way it's always going to be topped off. I'm going to give them max melee training, max armor, max weapons. That way they're walking tanks. Let's see. I can't recruit them at all. So a little something to note. If you don't have the population, you can't recruit them in your army. So instead, I'm going to start recruiting some Dondorian troops. 4 units, or 600 troops worth. Because I maxed it to 150. It's as high as it can go. I also give them max melee training, so that will take them a little while. Unlike in the city where your max melee training makes them train indefinitely, these guys are about the equivalent of a level 3 training, and they can't really go much higher. I also gave them max armor and weapons, which makes these guys fairly tough. Because I put them to max training, it's going to take them quite a while to build. You'll also see up here, the needs have also started to populate. What that is these export depots, now almost completely empty, are taking crates out. Kind of like an export depot. As you can see, you'll have our transporter taking the weapons, and now he's leaving with them. And as soon as he leaves the map, he's going to give it to the army. You need to keep those pretty well stocked so that they can continually supply your army. Right now, they're completely happy with clothes, armor, rations, and weapons. I don't have any archers, so I don't need bows or arrows. But eventually I'm going to want to put drinks, because drinks are going to increase their morale, make them less likely to run away, and give them more health. I don't have the capability to really build lots of drinks right now, so they're just kind of fighting sober. Oh, a slaver. That's going to be awesome. Purchase all of them. And let's free every one of them that I can. Free. This really helps my population. This is going to give me quite a hit to my happiness. I just hope that these new housings finish building soon, so that they can get happy again. I don't want these guys to have too many slaves. I might have just bought too many, actually. Get my back alleys built. With that huge influx of workers, alright, this mission is starting to tank. Now it's back up. What don't I have the resources? Oh, cut stone. Of course. I forgot to build my industry to supply that. Just to make sure they're happy. I have a high chance of a riot right now. You can see they're all sleeping in here. Ugh. you don't need it. Let's take a look at our army. You can see right now they've only built 9 troops per unit. It's gonna take a while because they're max training. If I was to build a bunch of conscripts, then they'd probably be built already. But having max training is gonna make them almost unkillable. I just bought myself into a new title. That makes me a king. 50% better prices. 20% better happiness. I'm going to appoint some nobles. Yes, you can convert entire species into slaves. I did that in one of my previous videos. I think it was my first video, actually. But I'll do that again here, just so you can get a visual. But I'm going to do that when I'm not in a threat of a riot. So give me a few moments and I'll show that. Now that we got a bunch of houses here, the happiness should be increasing within the next few days by quite a bit. But I'm going to... oh, there's my riot. Just waiting for that. Okay guys, let's muster again. Get you running out immediately, because this is no small riot. Ooh. All those educated little pricks are fighting. Even with that massive riot, my workforce is high enough to maintain. All those dissidents are being killed off now. With that said, I'm going to go into my region. My army is a little less actually, I wonder why. Odd. Anyways, I'm going to increase my taxes by 2. That's really going to boost that. I'm going to increase another entertainment to keep their loyalty high. And the reason I increased my food income by so much, not only because I just bought a bunch of people, but I'm also planning to increase their rations to make them happier. And on muster. Now my fruit should be starting to absolutely spill in and make me... oh, this isn't good. I have 20% degradation. food happiness. Target rations, 4. 4 times the food. Put that to about 25,000. Yeah, right there. I'm actually going to increase my taxes again. So that 4 times should... No, I'm going to do 5 times. Loyalty is still 100. Yep, that's good. These troops are really having problems, aren't they? Yes, that is the only way to disband your mercenaries. If you don't have any units in your army, you can't move the army. I'll demo that right now. So I'm going to create a second army. Come on. Recruit, right here. Now I'm going to take these mercenaries and just hire some random people. I'm going to move them over here. If you move them to another region, I'm going to move them to another region actually. So they're in another region right now. All of a sudden I don't need them because I don't want to continually pay for them. So, another riot. So I'm going to disband. But now, you see the tooltip says armies can't move when there are no soldiers. So now this army is stuck here. Which might not be a good thing because when you create professional armies, it's based on the region they're standing in. So I'm going to just ban the entire army because I don't need it right now. Unfortunately, that is the only way to get rid of them. Perhaps I bought way too many. Actually, I'm not going to muster my troops this time. I'm going to let the riders do their thing. I'll just have to repair after. Eventually they'll stop riding. You have to disband the units inside the army before you can disband the army itself. For your regional army, I'll show. Alright. So they've stopped. Now it looks like possibly there's a few people trapped because they're stupid. So I'm just gonna let them starve to death because they're stupid. But it looks like I also have 6 broken rooms here. That's gonna happen a lot with... That's basically all that happens with riders. They'll murder each other and they'll break rooms. There's no way I missed him. Alright, so... we come to an army. You build your army. You put in some mercenaries. Right. So now that I have an army, I don't want this army anymore. However, all divisions must first be disbanded. This includes your regional army. You can disband them the same way. So if you want to get rid of an army itself, you have to first disband everybody in it. And then you can disband the army. The troops that you see here from the regional so I'm going to put these guys down to fairly less trained. You see that there's 769 Garthemi. Now there's only 19. That is regional, because when you go to your city, I don't have any Garthemi. So the regional army and the city population do not intermix. They're 2 separate pools. Why are they still unhappy? What's making them so unhappy? They have all of their resources. Do I just not have enough? No, there's available services. So let's see if I can just give them pure happiness. I already have that. Well, their rations aren't going much higher, so I'm going to put these to 2. That's a problem. I think I'm understanding what's killing their happiness. There's bodies all over the place. Luckily, in a previous video, I unlocked graves. Instead of a mass grave, I'm going to create a crypt. No, I'm just going to create a regular graveyard. There's a good place. Let's place the graveyard over here. Because I suspect I'm going to be building my temples over here soon. What's my mass grave over here have? Only 30. Yes, when you're creating a regional army, all of your costs come from your capital. That includes mercenaries. You don't really have a national treasury. Everything you have is only ever going to be your capital. That's one reason why having your supply depots supplied is important. Oh, I almost forgot. I need to turn on my industry again. Get back to work. What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand your question. Ah, crap. So what you just saw here was my supply depots can't keep up with the demand. Primarily because my industry can't keep up with demand at this time. Other than spending your capital's resources via the battle interface, are the two interrelated anyway? So, I'm going to disband 2 of these units. I'm going to disband 3 of them actually. So when you create your recruit armies, the only way that you can possibly supply them is from your capital via the army supply depots. There is no other way to supply your standing army. You can buy resources from your import depots, which then go to your warehouse and then sent to your army supply depot. But at the end of the day, you just have to put stuff onto the supply depot, and then they have to take it to the army via these transporters. The only way to operate mercenaries is with your treasury. Here. Aside from that, there is no other way to supply your army. That's it. More broken buildings. Interesting thing to note for some people, if they just want to focus completely on jewelers and they get about 10 million a year, they can just import all of their weapons and supply their army that way. It would basically be buying your standing army. However, for the sake of these tutorials, I'm building industry to show that it can be done in the capital city itself. But just for fun. Let's see if there's something I can get rid of here. Coal, metal, stone, gems. How are my gems doing anyways? Yeah, they're doing fine. Fruit. I'm gonna get rid of the pots here. I'm going to buy drinks. Another riot. Are you guys not happy? Oh, building that graveyard really made them a lot happier. What else are they missing to be happy? They don't have their food preference. Okay, let's fix that. I'm gonna fix that in the laziest way possible. I'm gonna buy a bunch of bread. No, I'm not. Or am I? No, I'm not. I'm gonna build an industry building like I built in a previous city. So first off, no. This one's gonna be unique. Excuse me. Yes, the regional army is based on the region you're in. It's in no way, shape, or form connected to the population of your city. Your city is a completely separate pool from your regional army. So you need your city in order to supply your army. baker. Now I'm gonna max out my baking. Max out. Oh, that's mining, isn't it? Yeah. I'm gonna max out my refining base tech. Bakery. Put a door right here. Storage nearby. Really, that's what I need. Alright then. So you notice I put import to 0. The reason for that is I'm going to tax it. That was my army building. Alright. So these troops are almost ready to go. I got 100 out of 150 for each of my Garthimi. But that's not a good enough army for me. I'm going to create a truly conscript force of humans. Max amount of people with the lowest amount of training and weapons I can give. That way I have my absolute elites, I have my regular soldiers, and then I have a bunch of fodder. Hopefully that builds quickly. also need to make sure I have enough tools for my bakery. And I didn't. Now I do. With all of my industry now at full steam ahead. Oh, this is damaged. I thought I repaired everything. They should be supplying my army, but they're not. I do have it auto-employ. They're barely keeping me supplied right now. And the happiness is back up. At least outside of a riot range. So let's increase their food happiness a little, make them fat and happy. Now that I got my bakery starting to produce, and you can see with max tools and max technology and everything, the bakery's producing 41 per worker per day. I don't have very many workers, but I'm getting about 4 times the amount of bread as I am grain. There's a little bit of coal in there, but coal's being used for other things, so it's basically paying for itself. Hopefully, soon, with the amount of production I have, I'm making almost close to 2,000 a day. Hopefully they'll be able to keep up their food happiness. I'm also getting my tax right here, so the taxes I get from my region is going right into my warehouse here. As you can see, it's almost immediately here, and it's being used up nearly immediately. So it's a little bit of increase in breads. And you can also see now, I'm getting quite a bit of drinks, which I've been importing. I'm going to set up a drink supply depot to make my army not only happier, but stronger. Poor morale can mean the difference between a victory and a defeat. So, I explained it in my video yesterday, but taxation has to go through your import depots. It works the same as importing. But instead of paying for those resources, if you have your import set to not to import anything, you get those resources for free. You do have to spend admin points, like so. So if I was to allocate another one, right now I'm using only 1 point. But if I clicked it again, now I'm using, well, better said, I'm using 32 points right now. To increase it, it's going to cost me another 32 points. So I click it to level 2. If I want to increase it to level 3, it's going to cost me 33 more points. You can decrease it again to get those back. But this is just my home region for right now. Everything you do in your regions, everything, costs admin points to do. It even costs you admin points to massacre a race, or to exile a race. And yes, you can completely go total genocide and obliterate entire races from not just your city, but your region. Although you would face a hefty loss of population and hence production, so it's not something I would often suggest. But now I'm curious. I'm going to wait for my army to build. It looks like a few of them are ready for battle now. But with all these recruits, you can see their training is significantly faster. So I'm going to let them continue training. And I'm going to fill this with drinks. Pretty soon I'm going to conquer another territory. The video's gone a little longer than I wanted to, but setting up and operating an army while getting constant riots is not exactly easy. Oh, I'm actually creating a lot of bread. Let's take a look at their happiness now. So their food happiness is a lot higher. You can see the food preferences is starting to go up. It's because I have a lot of fruits and meat. Neither of those are things that humans like to eat. So until my bread starts making its rounds around the city, that's not going to go up much. But your food preference can make a pretty big difference according to their happiness trait in that. So if you were playing something like a Kryptonian who likes to eat just raw vegetables, and then you focused on the vegetable economy, their food preference would be pretty high. As you see, the Kryptonians, they are pretty high. Let's see Dondorians. Dondorians like meat. Oh, I have lots of meat. Supplies low. What is low? Alright, so let's pause this and see what the heck's happening. Rations. So, here's something to note. Make sure you have enough rations. It's 4 rations per soldier per year, or 1 per season. So right now, because I have so many soldiers, I'm consuming 2,000 or 9,000 rations a year. I don't think I can produce that much right now. Ration maker. So I'm only making 2. This is still broken? Okay, let's remove the room. Room copy. Oh, that's why. Stupid wall. Remove the wall. Now they're building it. Okay, so I have a ration problem. And I don't want my army to start deserting, because they will. So instead of importing stone, I thought I changed that. Oh well. I'm going to import rations. Now they're a little expensive. but I don't want my army deserting. So I'm willing to take the cost, because I have 6.1 million, I can afford it. So the way you get admin points, army supplies are low as a result, 24 soldiers have deserted. Alright. That's because they're starting to starve, and they're longer liking me. And much like export depots, these work in groups of 32. So I built an admin point in my previous video, and this is what creates your admin. So much like a library, actually it's almost exactly like a library, only instead of creating technology, it creates admin. When you own a lot of territories, chances are you're going to be having a lot of administration built. But I only own my own territory right now, so I don't need a heck of a lot of administration. You can also boost your administration via technology, which I have. And it's up here somewhere. Yeah, right here. So much like your technology knowledge, you can get admin knowledge. And now that I'm buying resources, yeah, you can see I'm actually struggling to keep up here with food. Come on. Import me some rations, guys. See, I have tons of rations here. I'm importing rations. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to take off auto employ. I'm going to max it. If they can't maintain it with max, then they're lazy. They need to die. Now that I've doubled that, let's see if that changes soon. It's going out almost as much as going in. So I might be having quite the problem with that, so I'm going to actually room copy. I can't room copy, I suppose. Can I just flat out copy? Yeah, I can. I'm gonna build another one. I know I have the rations. It's maxed. So they're consuming about 2,700 clothes, only 344 armor, 344 weapons, so I definitely have my armor and weapons down pat. My clothes could probably do a little better. My rations is what gets used like mad. And my drinks are about half that of rations. So I need to build about 3 or 4 times the amount of drink and ration sections. There we go. And as I promised before, I told you that I'd show you a genocide. I'm gonna let you dictate. Do you want me to just enslave the race, or flat out murder them all? Fair enough. So because I know I have a lot of Kryptonians, I know for a fact I do not have enough prisons. I'm going to increase my prison capacity so that I'm going to be able to hold them. Instead of creating a grand prison, I'm going to take the lazy way out and just copy what I have. I don't need these entertainment things anymore because those are by every housing unit. I'm also going to do something that's going to increase happiness by quite a bit. And this is going to go along with my enslavement as well. I'm going to create an arena. Just a small one, a fighting pit. I'm going to place it. So I have 5 housing units over here, so I'm going to place it over here. Get the most people. Arenas work in the respect that those that go into it die. And those that go into it are always prisoners. You don't put slaves into here, unfortunately. They have to be funneled in through a prison or a dungeon. However, it is possible, if you really wanted to. You could prosecute an entire race, which I'm about to do. And then it would generally be just that race that would be going in there. So now I have enough, I'm pretty sure. So I picked up Kryptonians in a previous one so that I could demo this. You click on your Law tab, and you have some options here. Persecute and banish. Right now, I don't like my Kryptonians. But I don't want them to execute, I want them to be enslaved. So now I'm going to look at prosecute. What prosecute does. You see in here, there's already a few Kryptonians. Oh no, never mind, they're builders. Get out of there, you buggers. Nice. So, the prosecution arrests all of the people of that species, whether they're criminal or not. So let's persecute. Actually, no, I'm not ready to persecute yet. In order to persecute, you have to have guard houses or guards to do so. Where is it? Law. Guard post. Let's put a guard post right there. I'll put a guard post right here. I've got a guard post here and here. Make sure they all have 10 so I have the most guards. Yeah, that's 10, that's 10. I have a little too many fruits in my area. Let's check my army's health. So they're starting to keep up with rations. But I think I need more storage for it, so that I can import more. Oh, I don't have any ration storage here. That's not good. That's why I'm having troubles. My rations aren't stored properly. I hope now, after selecting all those ration storages, that my import will be constant. Alright, and put these guys to 10. And these guys to 10. Now I'm ready. I also have an arena that's operable. Now I'm going to persecute them. You're going to see the population is starting to dwindle. What's happening is all my guard posts, they're sending their guys out to arrest these criminals. And they're going to bring them down to my new post. Turnkey. The hell's a turnkey? Oh, let's see. Well, actually, they're just bringing them straight to the slaver market. You can see the citizens of my Kryptonians are dropping, while my slaves are increasing. There you go. Now that my slave benches are full, they're starting to throw them into the prisons. Let's see if they've put any up here yet. There we go. You got 2 Kryptonians. No, a Kryptonian and a age 3. The 3-year-old fighting a 28-year-old. I'm willing to bet the Dondorian's gonna live. Just watch it. You got all your people here, just watching them fight. Speed it up a little. My money's on the Dondorian. Or Gralt coffee maker. No. Oh, wait. What's happening? Why aren't they fighting? Fight! It's a fight pit. There you go. They're gonna fight till one of them dies. Or they should have fought till one of them dies. You buggers! Is that a bug? What the hell? Alright then. I'm gonna build an arena. We got a bunch of Kryptonians in prison here. And you can check, 125 are in prison. And their number is fluctuating greatly because they're constantly being made slaves. If I was to banish them, all they would do is kick them out of the city. Build, build, build. I want to see people die. The persecution option simply puts them in jail. That's all that does. It's these sliders here that make the difference. So I don't have a justice system. My guards basically run the show. And right now I have for this race, I want 100% of the people thrown in jail to become slaves. If I wanted to just murder them all, I would create a execution block and have 100% as executions. So persecute puts them in jail, and then whatever these options are set to will dictate what's done with them, whether they're enslaved, whether they're killed, or if you don't have 100% in total, then whatever is left will become, well, they'll just serve their time. The way the arena works, and I'm actually quite surprised that no one's died. Or maybe they are dying and I'm just not seeing it. But they kill each other, or the prisoners kill each other, supposedly, for the entertainment of all those watching it. It actually provides quite a bit of entertainment. Services. And you see, the arenas have actually one of the highest happiness. More than news, more than spots, more than stages, arenas really make people happy. But you have to have a steady supply of prisoners to keep these running. I wonder if there's not like a bug somewhere. The way this is supposed to work is it's supposed to murder each other. I've never seen it not work before. They're still getting their happiness out of it for some reason. They're just not murdering each other. Come on, show me. Someone die! And these guys are still getting happiness, so I guess that's okay. It would just be nice if they actually did what they're supposed to do and murder each other. Maybe I'll show this video to Jake, so he can see that they're not actually murdering each other. Anyway, so now that a little bit of time has passed, you'll see the Kryptonians are down to 0. That means there is no free Kryptonian in my city. You'll also see that my slave population skyrocketed. And if I click the free button, I can see that 288 Kryptonians are now slaves. I also have a bunch of Kryptonians still in jail. Or maybe I don't. There's nobody in the slave markets. Okay, so all the Kryptonians are now slaves. If I leave these as it is, any Kryptonians that immigrate or are born will automatically be thrown in jail once they arrive. For example, my Talapi I have as the same setting. I have 2 Talapi nurseries. They grow up in a nursery like normal, but as soon as they become adults, they're thrown in jail and made a slave. Something that just came to mind is you could also do that same kind of method for human sacrifice, depending on your... Oh, I didn't select that. Depending on your religion. So by now, my army must be ready to do something. And yes, it's ready. I'm also going to hire a bunch of mercenaries just to augment. So just like the purpose of this video is to show Conquest. And to answer the question in the chat, the reason it's impossible to run a Cantor city is because there are simply not enough Cantors in existence to run a city. If we look at here, only 3% of the population of my region is Cantor, or 35. You can't grow Cantors, and Cantors, out of the thousands of people I have in my city, only 14 of them are Cantors. The game is made so that Cantors cannot be a playable race. They're meant to be special and hard to get, and in an upcoming patch that Jake has indicated, Cantors won't even immigrate. You'll have to find them in layers on the map. So, a Cantor city is impossible. So, let's see. They have not very many units there. They have even less. Are those gems? I can tax gems! Well, I know who I'm conquering. So my power of this army is 108.8 thousand. Obviously, I have a lot of conscripts, so I have more troops than my power, really. The power of this looks to be 892, so I'm going to absolutely obliterate these guys. So I'm going to scroll out here. You're going to see my nation is red. This nation over here is blue. Now on the map you can kind of see different colors. There's a lot of purple here. So whoever these guys are have conquered quite a lot. You can see the owner at the top left of the icon. So Hariko owns them, and Blast, whoever they are, owns them. And they own actually quite a lot of land. So if I was to ever go to war with them, I would probably have a very hard time right now. If they're gray, and it says free lands, it means they're neutral. They don't have an owner. Yet. You'll also notice in the populations, there's 5.6 thousand Garthemi in my area. And in here, there's 3.4 thousand. But you have different populations of different types. My area has a lot more population in general. This is actually a small region, but I can change that. I'm going to lay siege to it now and conquer our new region. When you attack a city, it always starts out kind of like that. Much like a Total War game. I'm going to click wait. What that does is it lays siege to the city. And eventually, the advantage of the city is going to reduce. As you can see, just that short time, it's reduced a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for a while so that I have a more fair amount. Even though I drastically outpower them, the game's just coded that way. How are my rations? So my rations are actually getting eaten pretty quickly. My import's having trouble keeping up. I might want to debate building a bigger import. My bread is also seemingly doing quite well, actually. Let's see if my humans are happy. Oh yeah, yeah. You see the services in the arena have gone up. They're getting happier. But they're missing a stage. I'm going to build a stage here. Just a booth stand. It bugs me that they're not killing each other. They're totally supposed to kill each other. But they are adding happiness, so I can't really complain. I'm not losing population, and they're getting happy. I believe that's a bug. But it's a good bug in terms of efficiency. My humans and my Dondorians are super happy now. That's a good thing. My prisons are now mostly empty because, well, I don't need them as much anymore, unless I was to get a battle. No, region population does not affect your capital population. As I've mentioned in the past, they're two separate pools. Although chances are you won't be able to reach the population in your capital as you can in your region. Most people, if they have really good computers, might get up to 20,000 people. Whereas my population here is 61,000. Let's look at what this is. Still? Alright. So, I'm still not ready to take it yet. Probably because I have a bunch of barbarians here. Conscripts. They don't know how to fight. Oh! Good! My rations are starting to be well supplied. And my drinks. I should think about walling this soon, but I'm not ready expanding it yet. I'm also not worrying too much about making an absolutely beautiful city, but right now this doesn't look too bad. I'm impatient about this. Ready yet? What? I'm gonna take the risk. How? How? Alright. Get rid of those. Bloody hell. So am I having trouble with clothes? Shouldn't be. Okay then. It's not working, so let's increase production. aren't you? More rations. Okay. So auto-employ. I want them to fetch drinks. Rations. Clothes. Armor. And weapons. This is my military warehouse. Everything that goes into here is going to be in here. They're all fetched, so they should pick it up. I'm minorly mad about losing that. I'm gonna recruit these guys again. I'm happy my bread is going. Bread has a tendency to make a lot of it. It's possibly your cheapest spam food that you can possibly get. Especially since grain is a lot more numerous than any other resource. You can get roughly double the amount of grain as you can fruit. And then you can get 4 times the amount of bread as you can grain, which makes bread roughly 8 times as efficient food-wise. You just have to have the research to do it, and the tools. If you also have a really good bread operation, you can make bread. And it's actually, as you can see, a little more efficient than fruit. I'm going to leave it at fruit because I have a really high tax of fruit. Unfortunately, as soon as they get the resources, it's being used. Now let's see if this army is good enough to take them. No, I'm still training a few. Are they training? Oh yeah, they're training. I really want those gems. Unfortunately, this video is going to be a little longer than I hoped, but I haven't yet accomplished my goal. Now they're starting to do their thing. lot better now. My drinks are on point. My clothes are on point, so I need to increase that a bit. But I did. I got enough workers to do it, come on. There you go. I just thought of something. I have found a use for transport. I think this is the first time I'll actually have used transport for anything. A slaver. I don't need any population right now. I also don't want to take such a huge hit to my happiness. Build faster! There we go. Destination is going to be this warehouse. Is it within destination? No. Good. Oh, I have to press this button. So I was clicking the button here. You actually have to click this. There you go. That's fixed. So my two main problems seems to be clothing and rations. So I'm gonna have them do rations, auto employ, and clothing, wherever that is. I'll find it. Here it is. Make sure that's 100%. Something I just noticed, this wasn't 100%, and I was able to select it here. So you can actually have this from across the map. The destination doesn't actually have to be within the radius of the transport. That is good to know. Let's see. So one of these is out. Here it is. Thank you, you just supplied me with a bunch of clothes. And now we should start seeing my clothing start building, but it gets taken so quickly. I'm hoping with those 2 transports set up, having this warehouse filled up all the time, that my workers in the supply depots will be able to keep them operative now. And already I can start seeing that the supply is starting to increase. That is a rather handy tool that I've never used before. So my army's not done training yet. Which is weird. I'm going to remove those guys because I'm impatient. And I'm going to invade again. My troops are better equipped, and they've had a little bit of time to rest. As you can see, my power is over 100,000 more than it was before. So I'm going to wait for a lot longer now. I can't be as impatient as I was. While I'm waiting for that seed to do its thing, we're going to get a little bonus part to our video. I'm going to build education. Education is very, very helpful. What it does, well, for one, it educates the people. But let's look at one of our industries. Let's look at our smithy. Our smithy production, there is a education slot. As you can see, there's very little education there. Only 2%. By building schools, you educate your citizens at a percentage per day. And what that will do is, very directly, it makes them more efficient. So when they go into their workplace, they'll have those bonuses towards their work efficiency. Education falls under knowledge. So you have your library. That builds you your knowledge points. Then you have your school. The thing about school is it only works for children. So I'm going to build a rather large school. Because I have a lot of children here. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll build a little more. There, that's equal. I built that a little too big. Right. So now I have the bones of a massive school. Supplies low on what? Oh, it's because they're in enemy territory. So I'm just going to click the build on that for now. I'm going to come back and fix it later. I have to go check on my army. What am I short? Oh, drinks. Aha! Now we have a victory here. I'm going to assault now that I have the advantage. And unfortunately, when you fight in a city, you don't see the battle. That's not implemented yet. To my understanding, that's going to be a feature added in the future when Jake does a world mechanic rework. However, at this time, city battles are auto-calculated whether you like it or not. So now we have a few options. We can do Mercy, which basically you just take the city and that's it. You can sack it. As you can see, they take the city and then they loot it. You'll get a lot of resources, and you can get a bunch of captives. And then you have Annihilation. They take everything they have, they kill everybody in the city. And I don't know why people would do that. So I'm going to click Mercy, because I'm a merciful man. For now. And you can choose to occupy the settlement and incorporate into your realm, or you can liberate. Which basically, if it comes from a opposing nation, which I showed before, it'll bring it back to neutral. I'm going to occupy this realm for the sake of this tutorial. I'm going to take my city and send it, my army, and send it back into my homeland. I'm also going to get rid of these mercenaries, because they are costing me money I don't want to spend. Now that we have another realm in our empire, you can select it. And you have the same kind of region selections as you do your main region for increasing your infrastructure. But there's a new option here called Garrison. I always max that out. What that does is it puts troops inside the city, so it's not as easy to take from another empire. You notice that the admin points, as I mentioned in a previous video, are shared between all nations. Or better said, all regions. I'm going to max these, and you can see, maxing those, this region actually has capability to be more populated than my own region. Any taxes I get from here is going to be more. I already saw before that they have gems. And gems is running my economy right now. And they have a lot of gems. It's really nice. So I'm going to tax the living daylights out of them for gems. You'll also notice your garrison makes a significant difference on loyalty. So it's 3.77. Let's lower that. Actually, it's not really doing anything, isn't it? I don't know why they're so loyal. But I'm going to get a lot of gems. Which means I'm going to stop importing gems, because that's costing me a lot of money. And soon, I'm going to be getting lots of gems for free. I could probably start selling the gems themselves. The taxes from regions you've conquered. Oh, that's why. Here's something you're definitely going to want to do. You're 100% going to want to create a regional army for the areas you want to keep. Where's the city? It's right there. And I'm going to make this regional army interesting. Slow it down. Huh. This seems as they take it all from my main region. I don't like that. Anyway, these guys are just peacekeepers anyways. So I'm going to make them pretty much just conscripts. I also have to move this army down. So I have good order here. And the order is directly affected by the size of the army in the region. Now you can see it's back up because my army is in the region. Once this army builds, I can remove this army. And these guys can peacekeep. Anyways, so that's Conquest. And it works tax-wise just like your main region. I'm kind of hoping, and it's true, but I'm hoping these troops found in recruit is accumulative. I'm gonna have to ask Jake about that, because I honestly don't know the answer. I thought that was based on regions, but I'm wrong. There's ways to get tens of thousands of troops, but you can't do that with what I have now. I'm thinking it takes a percentage of the population and puts it in the conscripts for every area. That's my own personal thought. So it's 45, so it went up just a little bit. 59. So I'm going to watch this number. Meanwhile, as I'm waiting for that answer, I am going to continue with the education. So it seems I might have built my school a little too big. So I'm going to reduce it. So you click refurbish room, and it brings it back to a state kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of like you were first placing it to begin with. Alright, so I have 96 services. That should be fine. I'm not being too picky about where I place those. There. That question's actually bugging me now. It's not there at 53. Theoretically, it should be a little higher. So it's 59? Okay, so it's 76. Okay. So, I just learned this through a little bit of testing. But the recruits you can get from here is an accumulation of your regions. The more population you have in your regions, the more recruits they put to your recruitable pool. Meaning the more regions you own, the more recruits you'll be able to get. Which is likely why large empires like this one can generally field very large armies. And I do say armies because they usually field 5 or 6 when they're that large. This guy's done training yet? Not yet. No available services. One thing to note, every child takes up a desk, 1 for 1. And as you see, the learning rate is 4% per day. Unfortunately, by the time they get to adults, chances are they're not going to be 100%. But they can get pretty good education from childhood up. Although, when they become an adult, depending on what race you are, that might be 4, 5, 3, they can no longer go to school. If you want your adults to continue to get education all the way up to the point of 100%, then you build a university. I'm gonna build one. For universities, you have to build podiums. Unfortunately, you can't shrink or increase the size of the podium. That's the size of it, and that's ever going to be the size of it. So you place multiple podiums. Then, like every other building in the game, if you place shelves, you can increase the efficiency of the building. Okay, so my LCD is not going to let me let this fly. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to try fighting that urge. When you have kids, they go to school, and because your kids aren't considered adults, it doesn't affect your population. Really. Not quite the same for university. University will take your workforce away if they're not already maxed. Although, they're not going to ever be maxed. With a population this big, unless you have like 30 universities, you're probably never going to be maxed. So you're going to see here, I have 421 workforce. That's going to plummet very soon. Oh, well, thanks for joining in the stream. Hopefully you have a good day. And I'll probably be ending my stream very shortly now that I've shown Conquest. I'm going to finish up with the university, then I'll end the stream myself. There's idling for the sake of it. There. Learning rate, as you can see, 1% per day instead of 4%. It's much more efficient to have a school. But if you can't get them, then you get universities. As you see, the 430 workers I had is now 355. That's because they're learning now. You have your professors, and then you have your students. And they're going to go up until they hit 100%. When you go down to the Education tab, you can actually choose how many of them can go to university of that population. And you can choose to indoctrinate them. They don't learn much, but it increases their loyalty instead. So you can choose them to be smart and efficient, or just slavishly loyal to you. I'm going to choose them to be smart and efficient because they're already slavishly loyal. And that is the introduction to education. It costs paper to maintain for schools and nothing for universities. And with that said, it's coming time to end my stream. It's about twice as long as I wanted it to be. On my next stream, I'm going to focus on building temples. Thank you for joining the stream, and I will see you next time.